Hey guys, I finally finished watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, and damn, that was one heck of an experience, man. 4 hours. I'm still processing it. I finished watching it like a couple of hours back, but I'm still processing it. Like I'm still thinking about the film, but I thought I'd make a very quick, non-spoilery video of my thoughts of this film. You can call it a review if you want. So okay, right off the bat, what is Zack Snyder's Justice League? I'll do a quick recap on what this film is. So this is the original version that director Zack Snyder had shot way back, and this was a version that we should have seen in 2017, but because of a family tragedy, and you could probably say even pressure from the studio behind the film, Warner Brothers, that he had to leave the project. And well, Warner Brothers then brought in Joss Whedon, and they reshot a bunch of stuff, and they gave a pretty much a different movie in theaters, and now finally we're getting Zack Snyder's Justice League after 4 years of fan petitioning, campaigns, and whatnot. And finally, oh, we got to experience this movie as Zack Snyder intended, for the most part. Okay, right off the bat, the first 2 hours of the movie, I was actually a little bit nervous. Now, this movie is 4 hours long, and I actually watched it in one sitting for the most part. And the first 2 hours had me a little bit worried. Now, I'm someone who actually watched the Justice League movie, the Justice League movie of 2017, a lot of times. It's not because I like that film, but I used to do fan edits of that version of Justice League. The main reason why I used to do fan edits on that movie was because there was already so much you could add. Like there was so much footage from the trailers that was not in the movie. So I used to like go back, rewatch the scenes, and add certain scenes from here and there from the trailers to the movie. And I used to do a lot of that. So because of that, Justice League is still really fresh in my mind. So while watching the film, one thing that caught me off guard was a lot of times my mind used to like just be like, oh, that shot was there in Justice League. Oh, this is a new shot. So I would recommend if you're watching this film, maybe don't watch Justice League before this. I think that would probably ruin your experience a little bit. But anyhow, so this is a very long movie. The first 2 hours of the movie actually had me worried because it felt very stretched up, and it felt a little bit unfocused. Like it was good that we were getting a lot about the characters. I'll speak about the characters in a second, but just based on the runtime, I think you could probably make a superior film out of a shorter runtime. I think that could be possible, but at the same time, you got to think about the marketing of this film. Like Zack Snyder literally had to put everything that he had shot into this film to sort of give that unique, different experience as compared to the 2017 version. So I think, but that is a little bit of a hindrance a little bit of a hindrance to the film, I would say. But that's the only thing. I think the pacing in the first sort of 2 hours is a little bit off. However, as the movie goes on, and especially once you like reach last hour of the movie, man, the plot, everything sort of kicks in, and you get this absolute wonderful finale to the entire film, which will just make you go like, why did they cut this? Why did they reshoot this? Like this was perfect as it is. Like why reshoot the last act of this movie? But anyhow, like let's not talk about the 2017 version of Justice League. Now, I'll just speak a little bit about the characters. I think the biggest spotlight has is given to Cyborg. I think his character is given a lot of depth in this film that I really liked. Um, and as Zack Snyder said, he is the heart of the film. He's pretty much the centerpiece of this film in many ways. And I absolutely enjoyed Ray Fisher's take of Cyborg, and I thought he did a phenomenal job in the role. Another thing that really surprised me was actually Ezra Miller's Flash. I really enjoyed his performance in this film, and he kind of gets a little bit of an arc in a way. Like it's a little subtle, but I really liked his arc in this film. It's a very small arc, but I thought it had a lot of meaning behind it. So I absolutely liked Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash, especially towards the end. He really gets into his element, and you're like, damn, that's a pretty good performance. Now let me come to Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Now Aquaman's sort of character arc in this film, it's a little bit weird, and the main reason behind that is because we got Aquaman in 2018, his solo film in 2018. So a lot of his story was fleshed out in his solo film, and now it's again fleshed out in the Snyder Cut because this was supposed to come out before Aquaman, and now we already know his backstory, so it gets a little bit, you could say, like, it's a little bit stretched out to the point where you're like, okay, we know this, we get this. So it's not really the filmmaker's fault because it's just what it is right now. Because this film was supposed to come in 2017, you can't really blame Zack Snyder for that. But it does get bogged down a little bit in related to Aquaman's sort of plot. Wonder Woman's storyline is interesting, but I think her character is probably the one character that doesn't really get much of a character arc, and that usually happens in team up movies when you have so many characters and so many new characters that you have to develop. Some of the characters get sidelined a little bit, and I think Wonder Woman got sidelined a little bit in this film, but she has some badass action scenes. I'll speak of the action scenes in a minute. Now coming to Bruce Wayne, Batman, I thought his character arc was pretty good. They built off his character arc from Batman v Superman really well, and he gets it's nothing big. You could say it's still a small arc, but I think it had a lot of meaning. I really enjoyed Ben Affleck's performance. At least in this version of Justice League, he looked like he wanted to be there, which is great. Although I don't know what it is. I think the Justice League suit is different from the Batman v Superman suit. I know it looks similar, but I don't know. Ben Affleck looks very stiff in the suit. Like he can't move around properly. I don't know what it is. Like now coming to Superman. His performance in this, I think Superman gets the most shortest role as compared to the six League members. But I think his role is really nice. There's some really good callbacks to Man of Steel that I really enjoyed, and his Henry Cavill, as always, does a fantastic job as Superman. Although I thought the black suit didn't really do much. Like it was fun to watch, but yeah, that's just about it. Now, like coming to the villain, I thought Steppenwolf was a much better villain in this film than in the 2017 version of Justice League or Justice League, whatever you want to call it. In this, like there's a little bit more drive to his character, and even though they don't really flesh out his motivations that much, he is a more compelling villain in this. He's not, but at the same time, he's not the strongest villain that we've seen in the DCU. Like if you compare it with General Zod, obviously I don't think he really stacks up when you compare it with him. But I thought he was still a very interesting villain, and you also get a lot of very interesting cameos from some of the other from the DC universe. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to spoil it, although you probably saw it in the trailers, but I'll just leave it at that. I think overall, I absolutely enjoyed this film. The action scenes are absolutely terrific. I mean, I can't understand why would you cut some of these action scenes. It's absolutely like it's Zack Snyder at his best, and it's like you actually get really cool team up shots as well. You see them working as a team, which I thought was really good. Another thing which I want to point out is the chemistry between the cast. I thought they really played off well, the cast members, and it didn't feel forced like the 2017 Justice League version. In this one, it felt more organic. They felt like real people, if that makes any sense. Like there were like few scenes between Aquaman and the Flash that I really enjoyed. Like, and it was nothing big, but it felt like very normal human moments. And I thought, overall, like in terms of the chemistry, this film did a really good job in portraying that, and it feels like a team. In the 2017 Justice League version, it didn't feel like a team. Here, it really feels like a team. But yeah, that's about it. I thought Cyborg, as I said before, got the best arc out of the six members. Overall, I really enjoyed it. Now, I'll just circle back to the length of this film. It was a 4 hour long movie. If you didn't enjoy Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, I don't know if you would enjoy this film because I would say the foundation was built in those two films, but at the same time, this also feels like a new beginning, although it's not really a beginning considering we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But in many ways, it feels like a new beginning because of the new cast members that is involved in this film, the new characters that are involved. It feels like a new beginning in many ways. So I think you might still enjoy it, but at the same time, I would not recommend you to see this in one sitting if you're someone who didn't enjoy Man of Steel and BVS, because I think that will exhaust you really quickly. Like watch it in parts. Like this movie has 6 parts, and it actually I think flows pretty well as a mini series as well. So if you are not up to watching it for 4 hours, you can definitely just split the movie up and watch it. And I like the fact that Zack Snyder sort of kept that in mind while releasing it. He was like, it can be suited for people who also want to like split the viewing experience. I think it still works. For me, the film really comes alive in like the third and the fourth hour. That's really when the film sort of kicks in. The first 2 hours is more of establishing the plot and everything. So anyhow, like, oh, I almost forgot, the music of this film is absolutely spectacular. I think Junkie XL does a fantastic job of the music throughout, and it really elevates a lot of the action scenes and a lot of the emotional moments as well. I think using Hans Zimmer's tracks in Man of Steel, the Superman sort of theme in Man of Steel, that really sort of elevates the entire viewing experience. Overall, I would definitely recommend you watch it. Although I think split watching it is probably the way to go. I'm not sure how much you would enjoy it if you watched it in one go, because there's a lot going on, especially in the first few hours. I feel like the first 2 hours of the film feel a little bit unfocused. It had me a little worried while watching it. It only sort of kicked in for me in the third and the fourth hour once the team was formed, and when and you got some really exciting stuff with the team. But that's just about it. I think you would there are some really cool surprises back, especially for DC fans, and I'm just hoping that we get a follow up to this. But that's just about it. So definitely this movie is Nerdistan approved, if that makes any sense. Now, on Saturday, we would be doing a podcast where we will be having a spoiler discussion about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and on Sunday we'll also be doing a live stream over at Indian Geek Society, another YouTube channel. So, if you want to join us for that, be sure, just subscribe to the channel and let us know what your thoughts were of the Justice League movie. Do have a great week ahead.